Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 426 of my 3 year challenge to lose 300 pounds. It is also New Year's Eve, the last day before 2020. If this is your first time checking out one of my broadcasts, a little bit about me and the channel. I'm 39 years old. I'm married. We have 4 children together, and I've been overweight my whole life. As long as I can remember, I have been extremely overweight, not just a little bit overweight, but very overweight. And in 2020, I got to a point where it was the highest I had ever gotten. I was up over 500 pounds, and I knew I needed to do something. So I created this challenge that I started on November 1st of 2020 with two main goals in mind. The first big goal of the challenge, excuse me, is that I needed to commit to doing something for longer than I've ever done anything in the past. Many times in the past, I would start a diet or I would set a goal for an event coming up. Maybe there was a wedding or a vacation that I wanted to lose some weight for. Um, or I would be doing great and I would hit other goals and just never figure out a way to maintain that weight loss or to continue, keep it going for any longer than maybe 9 or 10 months. So I challenged myself to do this for 3 years because I figured that in that time it'll give me a chance to lose the weight and also figure out a way to maintain it as well. The other big part of my challenge is that I have a lot of weight to lose. And I, um, again, in the past, when I would create diets or I would set myself up to lose weight, I would set goals that I felt were fairly realistic. Lose, 50 pounds or as much weight as I can lose in the next couple months, or, get under 300 pounds, things like that. And those goals are great and it's awesome to reach those goals and it feels great to reach those goals. But at the end of the day, I've never really been a healthy weight as long as I can remember, as long as I can remember. So I wanted to challenge myself to get to a much, much healthier weight than I ever really imagined myself being at. And so that's why I challenged myself to lose 300 pounds. So far, everything has been going awesome. We're about 14 months in. I've lost over 185 pounds, almost 190 pounds actually. Um, and it has been really one of the best experiences for me as far as diet and weight loss that I can ever remember having. Obviously, getting, I was at one point this year under, at the 200 pounds loss mark. And to just be able to do that within this first kind of year has been amazing. If anybody has any questions, comments they want to share, anything they want to talk about, I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any New Year's resolutions, I'd love to hear what your New Year's resolutions are going to be. Carrie saying, "Woo, goodbye 2021. Peace out, right? See you later." Um, I guess I don't feel that bad about 2020, 21. I mean, it was a different year, but for me, things weren't all that bad overall. I guess with uh, especially with this channel and my weight loss. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to go over some things um about this past year and things like that. And I'm going to got a bunch of notes here in front of me, and now that I'm looking at them, I'm missing some of them, but I think I got them all now. Okay. Um, so I want to talk about 2021 a little bit and 2022. So going to do that. So uh I want to thank you guys for all of the support that I got over the past year, and I'm looking forward to the next year. I just wanted to take a little bit of time here to kind of look back on 2021, kind of dwell on the present for a little bit, and then also kind of talk about some of my goals, maybe my New Year's resolutions going into 2022. Um, So really for me, today I was trying to go through and think about some of the biggest changes that have happened in my life in 2021. And obviously one of the biggest changes is that I lost another 80 pounds. I ended 2020, 100 pounds lighter than I started it. And then 2021, I ended now 80 pounds lighter than what I was at the beginning of the year. And that just weight being off of my body has been incredible. I have been able to do so much more as far as activity. My mobility has increased just in doing simple tasks like walking through the warehouse. I can kind of move faster or almost jog when I do some things. I can do things at a little bit of a more brisk pace and not get winded. Another big thing is like going up and down steps, like going up and down a flight of steps. All those things are so much easier because of the 80 pounds that I lost this past year. And one of the biggest things that I was able to do because I lost all that weight was I was able to do a sprint triathlon this year. And that was a few months ago now, actually. It was in the middle of July that I did the sprint triathlon. And that was a 500-meter swim in a lake, a 15-mile bike ride, and a 5K run walk. And I mean, prior to November 2021, that would never have been even on my radar. And the fact that I didn't just get up and do a 5K or just do something small, but I actually did something that was much more challenging for me. And it was an event that it was more of an endurance activity that took a couple hours to do. It wasn't something that you can really go into lightly. I wouldn't have been able to just say, "Hey, I'm going to go do this," and then and up and do it. I had to do a little bit of training. I had to get my body prepared to do the miles on the bike, do the running on my feet. Um, and just being down that additional 80 pounds this past year has been incredible in, you know, improving my ability to do things like that sprint triathlon. I did get sidelined with an injury shortly after that, and I had to kind of, learn how to deal with that adversity, but I didn't let that completely sideline everything or to completely throw my diet off. I'm a few pounds heavier now than I was when I got injured, but in the past, that easily would have been something that I would have allowed to wreck my diet and to just it would have been easier to not deal with my diet and and have that injury at the same time. And so it was great to get through that this year and do that. Another big advantage of that 80 pounds down is my foot and ankle health is incredibly improved. I mean, there were occasions around Easter at the beginning of this year where I was unable to walk because I was having issues with pain in my feet and in my ankles. And now I feel awesome going and doing, 3-mile hikes with my family through the woods and walking around barefoot outside if I need to go do something. Those are all things that I would not have been able to do a year and a half ago, or really even at the beginning of this year, those things would have been difficult. So losing that 80 pounds has helped improve all of those things. Another big change for me from 2021, I would have to say, is that my mindset about food is completely different. And I don't even know how to explain everything that has changed about my mindset with food. But I was watching some of my broadcasts from a year ago. And when this diet was new to me, this whole food, plant based, salt, oil, sugar free diet, when that was new to me and how restrictive I felt like the diet was. And now, a year later, I'm sitting here thinking about how crazy it was that I used to think that I was on a restrictive diet because I eat such a large variety of foods now. And I ate a large variety of foods before, but what I eliminated was really not a lot of things in comparison to the things that I added, the different types of vegetables and legumes and things like that that I would never have even tried before, far outweigh the few kind of things, because really it's kind of the main meat products, and then dairy are the big things I got rid of. But so that's a big change, is that my mindset about food has changed. I am also kind of had, like, I used to drink diet soda all the time, and it would be easy for me to go, well, diet soda is 0 calorie, but there's so much more that I'm learning about what is actually in the chemicals that makes those drinks 0 calorie, the sweeteners, and how they're not really great for you. And so those are just some of the mindset changes that I've had this year. Another mindset change has been our approach to our children's diet. Again, I was watching videos from a year ago. We had just gone on a vacation, and I was talking about how easy it is to go out to eat with the kids because we can let them have whatever they want on the menu. And then fast forward a year now, and I am, you know, kind of policing my kids on what they eat and really paying attention to the foods that they are putting into their mouths, because I have seen such an incredible improvement in my health, and I've seen an incredible improvement in Carrie's health. And I know that those improvements are a direct result of the food that we're putting in our mouth. It's not just because we're losing weight. I'm feeling better because of what I'm eating. And the weight loss does make me feel great, and it is helping me feel better. But the eating a whole food plant-based diet has really um opened up my eyes as far as what real nutrition is. And I want our kids to have a better foundation in nutrition than I had growing up. And it's really the it's nobody's fault. I mean, it's how do I explain? It's the people that were teaching us how to eat. It's their fault. It's the tests that I had to take in school and things like that to learn these food groups and these memorization of things that were not ever really scientifically proven, but it was what the government released, so that's what we followed. Um, and I want my kids to, like, not just have a couple vegetables. I want them to try a whole spectrum of vegetables. There's things that my kids have tried now that I never would have tried, and my parents wouldn't have even tried to make me try them, because it wasn't worth the fight, because it's so much easier to feed our kids foods that are just chocked full of sugar and salt and oil, um just to appease them, And another thing that I'm hoping my kids get from what we're doing with our diet now is that they learn to be okay with not having that fast food or going, like, one of the things I see a lot with them is like the jealousy of other people eating what they wish they could have. If somebody were to have a bowl of ice cream, they would be extremely jealous that they don't get to have a bowl of ice cream. And that, like, being able to restrain yourself from having that ice cream while watching somebody else do it, it's extremely, I have a hard time doing it now. I couldn't. Like, me and Carrie, our diets are very similar. We're on the same diet, and she allows things into her diet that I don't allow into my diet, like the cheese spread that we had at Christmas. And it is very difficult to watch other people enjoying those foods, knowing that it's not that bad for you, but it is bad for you. And having the control to say no to eating that is nothing that I've really been able to do in the past, unless I was super binge dieting. Like, doing sub 1,000 calorie kind of things for my diet. And then, yeah, the other thing over the past year, we did get a lot better at traveling and our diet. We've found, the easy things for us to bring with us or to prepare to have when we go down there. That, we've learned that it's easier to have, that stuff ready to go, to make a plan, to prep food. Or when you get to where you're going a few times this past year, we would do shopping and we would buy groceries. We wouldn't just buy snacks, we would buy actual, potatoes and ingredients, onions, things like that that we would actually use to make dishes when we traveled. Um, and that was a big change from this past year too. Is that at the beginning of the year when we traveled, eating out was easy with our kids, and then by the end of the year, it's become much more difficult. We have to kind of plan if there's restaurants that are gonna appease us or meet our there's gonna be restaurants that meet our dietary needs, or if we're gonna have to bring our own food. So, but we have gotten better at that. The last biggest change of 2021 that I was gonna talk about was education and how much time I spent on learning about style, about this way of eating. Um, in the description below, there's a list of all of the books that I've kind of read the past year. I believe that's a complete list, but there might be books that I'm missing on that list. But it's over 10 books that I've read or listened to on Audible in the past year. And that's more than I've probably listened to or read in the past 10 to 20 years. So the big change for me is actually taking the time to try to educate myself about this way of eating or this lifestyle and to learn a lot more information to help reinforce the things that are going on with me, the experience that I'm having. It's one thing to eat this way and be feeling great. But then when I'm reading these books or listening to these books and they're talking about why I'm feeling great and the effects of the food I put in my body, correlating to how I feel overall, it's been awesome. Not every book has been my favorite book, but there have been a lot of good ones that I really enjoyed listening to. Uh, at the top of the list, I would say the Pleasure Trap book would be the book that I personally recommend. I don't know if anybody has ever taken my recommendation other than maybe Carrie and listened to it, but I feel like the Pleasure Trap book does a really good job explaining kind of the psychological aspects of our eating habits and also looks a lot back at our evolution and all of the things that led to you being here today. Like there was an infinite number of things that had to happen prior to this moment for us to be here to and um there was a lot of time where we didn't have the ability to refine sugar and to process these foods like we have been able to in the last 100 years. And our bodies just aren't designed to live in the world that we have. And so that's a book that I'm a big fan of. Both of the Dr. Greger books are very informative. And if you're looking for great storybooks, the Rich Roll, Finding Ultra, and Born to Run are also great books that I would recommend. But overall, those are kind of the big things in the past year that have changed. The loss of the weight, my mindset about the food, and my, learning about this way of eating. Many times in the past, I would kind of be sparked to try to eat a certain way, but I wouldn't continue to investigate or research it. And some of that kind of initial intensity might have faded off. So I'm extremely happy with where I'm at now. 2021 was a great year. And where I'm at now, currently in the present, uh, at 332 pounds was my last weigh in. I've been between 310 and 330 here the past few months. I'm at the weight that I was when I was in college. And it's just crazy, kind of. I talked about how my mobility has increased because I've lost the weight, and um just being at this weight and kind of, I don't know that I would be doing any college football practices like I did, when I was in college, or but other than that, I wasn't very active in college. I'm probably healthier now physically. I could probably run further than my 22-year-old self could, that was at this same weight. So, and well, I was probably heavier than this at 22, but yeah, it was around this weight. Um, and so uh I'm extremely happy to be at this weight, and it sucks to be kind of on this plateau, but it's just kind of, it's better than to be gaining all the weight back, or to be, that weight to be continuing to creep up. Uh Currently I'm much better at controlling my diet, or I have a better handle on my diet. And I kind of know now, or and it's not like it's a huge revelation, but when I stick to my diet and I eat the whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar free, I lose weight. It's happened every way in, from pretty much the beginning of this whole thing, that if I'm on diet, I can't hardly overeat. And it every weigh in, I end up weighing less than the previous weigh in. And so and so I also know too that if I don't eat salt, oil, sugar free, but I continue to eat a plant-based diet, and I continue to avoid the super processed or heavy amounts of the super processed, I have to keep it in my head that, the calorie density of the food is different, but I can eat that way. I can eat a plant-based diet with some salt, oil, and sugar, and I can do a pretty good job of maintaining my weight. Um, and that is something that I've not ever done. Like, maintaining my weight at what I have for the past few months has never been something that I could do. And um, uh, just in like what I've done this past year, that could be somebody's challenge and goal. Like, you challenge yourself to stick to something for a year and lose 80 pounds. And that's what I did. Um, but anyways, I have a better grasp on my diet. If I eat on plan, salt, oil, sugar free, I lose weight. I let the salt, oil, sugar come in, something happens, and I don't have any um fear of eating those foods. As long as I stay plant based, I don't have any fear that I'm gonna be 500 pounds. And I definitely don't have any fear that I'm gonna have a heart attack or I'm gonna have heart disease, because I'm not bringing any cholesterol into my diet this way. Currently, I also talked about a little bit, but my mobility is so much better now than it was even a year ago. Uh, and just my overall stamina, not just, the ability to go up and down a flight of steps, but to walk up multiple flights of steps. We went on a vacation where we were at a resort, kind of museum thing, that I had to walk up 8, 9 flights of steps in a row. A year ago, that would have been extremely difficult to do. So, being in a position where those are not difficult to do, or being able to jog or to walk fast, like I, excuse me, like when I'm in a store or something and I'm trying to be fat, like I can have another kind of gear, I guess. There's like walking, and then there's like fast walking. And that was never anything I did before. It was just walking or crawling. Now I can kind of move around faster, and just that mobility has been awesome. The other big thing that I'm currently happy about is that my clothing fits. All of it, almost all of it. But it's for so much time, or for the past couple years, I've worn the same shirts, just these gray blank t-shirts because they were cheap or cheap-ish, maybe not cheap, but um I could get them in 5X and 6X, and they were just passable as shirts. Um and now I got all of the clothes that I used to wear. I mean, a lot of that stuff is too big to wear anymore, but I still wear some of that clothing, and all of the stuff that I've worn for really the past 3, 4 years as I was gaining weight from 2013 to now when I had lost weight the last time. Almost all of that clothing is fitting. There's a few things that I'm looking forward to fitting in, or kind of have like those are goal shirts that are hanging in my closet that I'm still probably 30 or 40 pounds from getting into. But I can pretty much pick up any piece of clothing out of my dresser or that I have, and I can wear it. And then also I can go to the store and have a much better chance of finding something that fits. You know, the shirt I'm wearing right now is a 3X shirt, and it fits pretty good. The in the past I couldn't, that in order to get a 4 or 5X shirt, you have to order them online, or you have to go to a specialty store or go to the JC Penney's. 3X are still a little difficult to find, but they're more likely to be on the shelves or the racks at Walmart, things like that. So, um, really currently those are the big things for me, is just that my mobility is so much better. I have a great grasp on um my diet and an understanding of the nutrition that I didn't have before. And then the clothing that I wear is, I can fit into the clothing. But now the big thing is, what am I going to do in 2022? What are my New Year's resolutions? And I have a few of them down here. The one, kind of the big one, and it's an easy one, I guess, but it's just to be more active. I think that that is an easy goal that anybody can have that is overweight or that's looking to try to lose weight. I don't want to put any kind of strict measurement tool on my being more active. It may be going to the gym in doing treadmill things or lifting, but I really like going on hikes or being outside doing things with the kids. Maybe it'll be doing some 5Ks, signing up for more 5K fun runs. And like I said, and those are things that I could do with my kids that would be really a lot of fun to do. Another thing, for example, this evening we're going to go roller skating with my kids. Activities like that are activities that are, you know, not traditional workouts, but just being there and doing those things is going to cause me to expend more energy. And then another thing I'd love to do to be more active is I'd love to get my ATV out and ride more. It's been 5+ years since I've really ever ridden it recreationally. I use it kind of as a tool around the house, but I'd love to get out and do four-wheel riding again. And that was just kind of my first goal. Like I said, is just to be more active. So just be outside doing things. It's tough to think about that now when it's negative degrees, it's 0 degrees outside and we got snow coming in. But this year I definitely want to be more active. The another goal for me this year is that I want to upload more content, and I want to maybe do some different types of videos for my channel here. Maybe do like a how I lost 90 pounds in 40 days, or how I lost 100 pounds in 9 months. Those are videos that I think that I could kind of sit down similar to this and just kind of talk about how my experience has been over the past year. And even this right now, I went live and I'm talking about my New Year's resolutions live, but I could cut this video up a little bit and post it on um my channel with, as multiple videos. Even, I could do it as three, my last year, what I feel now and in the future, or I could do one video. But just to do more of that type of content and not just stick to the live content. Also, I do need to get more active with my Instagram account. I also have the Discord as well that I need to probably use those a little bit more. Um, and then, yeah, Wayne saying here that he'd love to see a composite video from my first water fast and what that was like. And I actually did kind of it's not uploading more content, but I did make a playlist, and I don't know how you can access those, but it has, those 40 days of water fasting. It has those live streams so that they're bundled together, that if somebody wanted to watch those, they could. And I want to do more of those. Maybe bundle all of my weigh-ins together so people could kind of just binge watch the weigh-ins, things like that. But I want to get more active with the content and to create those kind of things. It's very easy for me to just kind of hit the go live button and do this. And so that's what I've done for this past kind of year. I just need to take some time to actually build some more content, I guess would be one of my goals for 2022. And then my biggest goal for 2022, big one, huge. Um, I'm going to hit my goal weight this year. I'm going to lose the 112 pounds that I need to lose. And by the end of 2022, I'm going to be under 220 pounds. That's going to be my biggest focus for the next year, because that's the only way for me this works, is that I lose all this weight and then I have a period of 9, 10 months at the end here where I'm maintaining that weight loss. And I know that I have it figured out. And so in order to do that, I have to lose the additional 110 pounds. Uh, and then Wayne says, and then shave my beard when I lose it. Yes, I'll have to do a makeover at the end. But I was just kind of doing the math before the stream, kind of looking at the 100 pounds to lose. If they're 3,500 calories a pound, 365 days, that means I have to eat at about 1,000 calorie deficit every day. And that's what I did over Christmas. And I feel like that's what I've been doing this week. And I think that eating this diet, I can continue to maintain eating around 1,000 calorie deficit a day. There may be an occasion where I do have a day that is higher calorie, and I just have to take that into account and not eat the next meal, or not eat the meal prior or 2 meals prior. I have to have it planned out a little bit, but um I'm not going to get into like counting every calorie though. For me, what I found is that the scale is the best measurement tool for me. If I get on the scale every day or as much as possible, I can know where I'm at versus the day prior. And it really for me is like having, that updated information every day is just the best um for me. So it's gonna mean that I am gonna have fewer cheat meals, and like just kind of was saying, is I'm gonna have to, weigh in more, or kind of keep a focus on my weight in order to reach that goal. But that is my big goal this year, is to get under 220 pounds. And just the thought of it in my head, oh my God, 220 pounds by the end of this year, just to be that light. Like, I can't imagine how much easier everything's going to be. Like, just things have gotten so much easier losing this 200 pounds. And thanks, Wayne. I'll talk. Yeah. Thank you, Wayne. The next year, like, just the difference it's going to be, I'm so excited about it. And when I talked to Carrie about this, I try to use kind of like when I talk about getting to 220 pounds, it's not going to be a if I get to 220 pounds, it's going to be a when I get to 220 pounds. If I just trim the mustache itself, it's probably going to get me down a few pounds. Absolutely. But that's there to cover up you know, the food in the teeth, right? Um, so, but so that is kind of like I said, my New Year's resolutions for 2020: be more active, upload more content or edit more of these videos, give you guys more content, be more active on Instagram, Discord, things like that. And then the big one is hitting the goal for 2022. Uh, I think that those are all goals that are easily obtainable. I don't think I'm going to have to uh, kick my ass to do it. And I also, like I said, with the working out, I don't want it to be so strict. I don't want to be like, I'm going to work out every day in 2022 because it never works, but be more active, find more opportunities to go out and do things with the kids and be active that way. Um, so yeah, like I said, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed the look back at 2022, where I'm at and what I'm looking to do going forward. Um, I am really excited about 2022. My kids are getting to an age where, like going out and doing stuff outside's been a lot of fun. Uh, they're responding well to us losing this weight. They can tell that we're more active, and like so. Anyways, I know I've thanked you guys many times, but a big thing that has helped with the success is having the accountability of this channel, having to come back on here and upload these videos or look in the camera and be like, I don't want to talk about this, but I need to, or if I do that, then how am I going to go in front of the camera and then explain that away, So having the accountability of this has been great. If you guys can find accountability in your own life, I believe that it is a huge factor in success. I may not love, the 100% of the message of Weight Watchers, but I really like that accountability that Weight Watchers does provide. But so much of that accountability too is in your own hands. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to, uh, you have to give those things like those meetings that weight that it needs. But a big thing for me is just telling somebody that you're going to do it. Tell your loved one that you want to try to start losing weight or you want to do this, and you might be surprised at how they respond. They might be all aboard because so many, I know, for years, for multiple years, if I'd have come up to Carrie and said, hey, I want to start doing this thing, she just said, yeah, let's do it. Because, and I know it's true, because when I did do it, she did. When I came up and said, hey, I think we should eat a whole food plant-based diet with no salt, oil, or sugar, she was like, yeah, let's do it. Doesn't matter. I don't care how hard it's going to be, how crazy it's going to be. She just did it because she wanted to see me healthier. And I know that, many of you probably have somebody out there that you can go to and they can help hold you accountable. Um, so yeah, guys, I'm going to get out of here today. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do get subscribed to the channel. Click on that little bell icon so you turn on notifications. You'll get alerted when I go live, which is generally around 4 p.m. on weekdays. I will be on Monday. Today's Friday, so I will be back on Monday, January 3rd. I hope all of you guys that are using New Year's to set your own weight loss resolutions can check in on Monday and let me know how great you're doing, and we'll kind of conquer this next year together. If you guys haven't started your diet yet, there's no reason to wait. I know you're waiting until New Year's, but you could start right now and you'd already be like 6 hours in before the new year started. But no, for all you guys that are starting your diets for New Year's, I know Wayne had mentioned that he is going to be starting his diet. I wish you guys all the success in the world don't beat yourself up on things, but try your hardest to stick to it. You know, if you need any support, there is a Discord down below that you can join the Discord. And that kind of is a great place for you guys to kind of let me know what you got going on and checking in there. So guys, you guys all have a great evening. I had a great year and I'm looking forward to the next one. You guys all have a great evening.